Alright, guys. So this is our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Christopher Rosa, who asked me to do a very interesting story, which I had a little trouble kind of discerning what they were talking about. I had a little trouble, like, trying to discern it. But I do think I have it proper. Like, I do think I have it proper, or at the very least done close to how they would have wanted. So I apologize, Rosa, if you're watching this video, and I do apologize if I have misinterpreted what you were talking about. But anyway, let's get started. So this is basically like a Toffee Lost Origin story. That's basically what we're doing here, is like a origin story for Toffee, or basically talking about like the lost years. You know, the things they should have done in the fucking show. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about here, with a series of what I call Toffee the Lost Years. So Toffee the Lost Years is more or less talking about like the secret origins of Toffee and what led him to the road to being who he is now. So let's get started, starting off with his younger years and like his childhood. So yeah, this is all headcanon, this is all that, nothing's been... I am going to take stuff we do know and put it in here if that's what you're asking. But anyway, let's get started with his childhood. So, basically Toffee in his younger years was this young Septaran from a village. And basically Septarsus, the world of the Septarans, was kind of like they were evolved. Like, of all the monsters, they were pretty much some of the most evolved monsters among the tribes of different monsters, and they were the biggest threat to humans. Like, they were some of the bigger threat to humans because they were intelligent and they were well organized. Like, they were they were basically clans of warriors who knew how to fight, they knew how to coordinate, and they knew all of that. And Muni really didn't like the idea of having a direct opponent. So what would basically happen is that Solaria would send in raiding parties into Septarsus and lay siege and like burn, like, kind of, you know that scene in the first Conan movie where like the clan of Set comes barging in and starts killing everyone. It's kind of like that, but with humans just murdering everyone. And Toffee's family is among them. He's basically like, yeah, this is wrong. And however, he and his family managed to survive. But his father says, "Son, I don't want you to become like them. I don't want you to be like a human. I want you to be a warrior. I want you to be a scholar." So essentially what happens is that he's sent to to be a scholar, and being a monster among scholars, like an interdimensional like college that kind of doesn't that depends more on brains. They accept him even though he's one of the few monsters out there, and obviously this is a school backed by humans, so he does get the shit end of the stick most of the time. But this is where Toffee like learns and becomes more intelligent. He becomes more like this is the stepping stones to him becoming the Toffee we all know, and in some cases fear. This is the version of Toffee that basically becomes this is the stepping stones to him being what we know him to be. So so he's more or less during this, he does encounter Eclipsa, and Eclipsa is a teenager by this point, and he actually befriends her because at first he's like, I tried not to hold any hatred in my heart for you humans because I knew that not all of you were evil. I knew that not all of you were these like barbarians like the queen. And she goes, well, the queen's my mom. And he's like, oh, my apologies. And she's like, no, my mom's kind of complicated, it's fine. But you seem like you seem different from the other ones. And he's like, Septarians are very intelligent in our own right, so why should you be shocked by that? Why should you be, surprised by any of this madness, really? So in here, Toffee and Eclipsa grow closer as friends, and they're almost become lovers until Solaria finds out and just loses her shit and sicks Mina on basically six Mina on Toffee. The two fight, and Mina just beats him down mercilessly. Like, it is just a murder fest of a fight, and he barely escapes. And this is where he manages to flee, and he's trying to heal and like put himself back together. And he returns to Septarsus and discovers that his family's been killed by starvation because the Mumins are getting harder and harder on Septarsus, and the Septarans are becoming more of a nuisance because they've got a new leader who's becoming very vocal, and his name is Seth. So Toffee goes out to seek out Seth, and the two instantly hit it off. The two instantly become best of friends. He introduces him to Rastakor, and Toffee learns how to train to fight from Seth. And also, like, basically, Seth is talking about, like, he's kind of like he's kind of like Magneto, where he's like, you know, the only way we win is if we wipe out the Mumins, because it's clear that they are not going to stop till we wipe them out. We need to be the ones to fight back. We need to be the ones to, you know, fire shots back when we cannot survive like this. We are not, you know, we're not the monsters here. They are. So, over the years, Toffee rises through the ranks to be one of the top generals for Seth and his army. And Seth is basically basically, this is how they learn at this point in time. Toffee is now like, he's rising to the rank of general, but right now he's like a captain. He's one of the youngest captains in the army. And basically what happens is that what occurs is that this is how they find out how to do the regeneration ability, because Seth deals in dark magic and teaches it to, and basically spreads it through the water for his army to drink. So this is where they start learning how to like regenerate and whatnot. So we fast forward a few more years. Toffee's now general and is now bringing the fight to the Mumins, and this is the point where he goes apeshit on Moon's mother. Like, this is the battle where he battles Moon's mother, and Seth is killed. Like, Seth is killed by Moon's mother, and Toffee's like, this was the guy who I saw as my own father, and now he's gone. Like, you took that from me. You killed that last piece of mind with me, you know. So he just straight up just decapitates her and just holds up the queen's head for the entire monster army to be like, yeah, Toffee, Toffee, Toffee. And we all know where this goes on from here. We also discover that, like, Toffee also studied dark magic, and also, thanks to Eclipse's training and letting him read sacred books, this led to him learning about, like, how to use the spell book to begin with. You know, again, all the stuff we should have learned from the fucking show, but fuck us, I guess. Anyway, so there you go, guys. That is pretty much an abridged version of Toffee the Lost Years. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? And once again, thank you to Christopher Rosa for sending me this video idea. This was a lot of fun to do. And yeah, because again, we never got any of this shit in the show. We at no point got any of this shit in the show. And it's kind of vexing. It's pretty vexing. So I'm kind of glad I got to do this. But anyway, so as always, if you have a video idea for me, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, and send me a request over on Patreon as well. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this and the other ones, because I just marathon 5, so it might take a little break from Patreon requests for a hot second. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.